Every single one of us makes mistakes in life. We're not perfect human beings. And from the mistakes that we make, we have the opportunity to learn from those mistakes. But we also have opportunities to learn from other people's mistakes. And of course, you could use your own experiences, and a lot of times you have to learn by trial and error. But there are times where you could actually avoid some mistakes that you make sometime in the future if you look at other people's experiences and learn from their mistakes. And usually, if you have good people around you that care about you, they will be willing to share their experiences and share their regrets and their mistakes that they have made in their lives. And a lot of times they're willing to share it because they don't want you to make those same mistakes. So usually when people do care about you and they do share their experiences, it really comes from good intentions and it comes from a good place. So, what is it that you should do when you hear other people's mistakes and they share it with you? I believe you should obviously learn from their mistakes and try not to make the same mistakes that they did, right? But a lot of times, the problem is we have a lot of pride and we feel like we know better, even though the people that you've seen around you, whether they shared those experiences with you or you just saw it firsthand, or maybe you heard it word of mouth, or you heard it through content, through video, or through a book, through reading material, whatever the case may be. People, and this includes myself, even though they gone through trial and error and made many mistakes, we think we could still go through that same path and not make the same mistake. But obviously, we don't learn from history and we repeat those same mistakes, right? There's that saying that history repeats itself, right? And it's usually because people do the same things and they make the same mistakes and they don't learn from the history of going through that same scenario and doing something different. So we feel like, well, that's not going to be me. I'm not going to be that person that makes mistakes. But yet, you do the same patterns, you do the same behaviors, and you make the same choices, only ending up making the same mistake. And that's not always the case, but most of the time it usually is, right? You do make those mistakes that you've seen other people do because you follow the same pattern, you follow the same path. And so it's about just having the humility and understand, yeah, you know what? I won't make those same choices. I know this person has lived through it and lives to tell about it. So, in order for me to avoid those hardships and those challenges, maybe it's best to follow this person's advice and go with their suggestion because it'll save me a lot of pain. It'll save me a lot of hardship and a lot of headache if I just listen, right? So it's there's a lot of listening. There's a lot of humility and letting go of that pride, thinking that you know best in life, when in reality you don't know much, right? But you could either learn the hard way and actually going through the same experiences that they did, or you could save yourself a lot of trouble and just listen and learn in a much easier way, which is just avoiding that same mistake, avoiding those same patterns and that same path in order for you to be better off and save yourself from a lot of hardship. And so I think there's a lot of wisdom in that, and it takes a lot of humility, takes a lot of discipline to be able to realize that there are people out there that know more than you, that experienced it, and you could witness, oh, I see how these people here are handling this situation. Maybe they made some mistakes here, and you could analyze the situation and just realize, well, maybe I wouldn't do this, and what they did here is good, but I will try to not follow those same patterns to make some of the mistakes that they made. And so you could learn from other people's experiences or other people's scenarios, and also learn from firsthand them telling you their story and them telling you their experience. And yeah, it's important to think it through, process it, analyze it, and see if what they say is legitimate, and if it's coming from a place of good intention, if it's coming from a place of wisdom. And when you do process it, then you can make the decision for yourself whether you want to follow a certain path or not. But it does require just a lot of humility, a lot of wisdom, and take some time to process what you witnessed or what someone has told you about their mistakes, and then you could take something from it and apply it to your life so you don't make those same mistakes.